The galaxy was a vast expanse, filled with ancient races, each holding their power and secrets. Among the stars, there were many factions, some benevolent, others tyrannical. The Galactic Council, a union of the most powerful species, prided itself on maintaining peace and order across the cosmos. It was a symbol of unity, or so they claimed. But when they dared to lay their hands on a human child, they had sealed their fate. Humanity, though young and often underestimated, had a fire burning deep within their hearts. It was a fire that could not be easily quenched, and when the Council chose to provoke that fire, they awakened a force beyond comprehension. The child's name was Elysia, a 10-year-old girl whose bright blue eyes held an innocence that had yet to be shattered by the universe's harsh realities. Born on Earth, she had been chosen not by the Council, but by the cosmic winds of destiny. She had been brought to the Council's headquarters on the planet Zorithis, a place where hundreds of species gathered to deliberate the fates of entire civilizations. At first, the Council had been intrigued by the human's raw potential. Their scientists and scholars saw in her mind a treasure trove of untapped possibilities. They believed they could mold her into something greater, a tool for their cause. But they were wrong, very wrong. The first signs of their mistake came when they tried to harness her abilities. Elysia was no ordinary child. In her veins flowed a strange energy, an ancient force that her ancestors had long forgotten. The Council saw this as a threat. They sought to control her, to study her, to break her into submission. They tortured her, experimenting, probing, and manipulating her mind and body. The child's screams echoed through the halls of Zorithis, a haunting sound that reverberated through the chambers of the Galactic Council. They thought she would break, that her will would crumble under their relentless pressure. But what they didn't realize was that the human spirit was not so easily crushed. Elysia's mind, though small and untested, had a resilience that no other race had ever seen. As the Council's scientists and torturers pushed her to the brink of insanity, something inside of her snapped, a primal instinct, a desire to protect her kind, her people. She tapped into the ancient power lying dormant within her and ignited it with a fury unmatched by anything the galaxy had ever seen. And that was when it began. The first strike came from within the Council's own ranks. A single human ship, a small vessel piloted by a handful of rebels who had heard of the child's plight, appeared in the skies of Zorithis. At first, the Council's forces laughed at the insignificant threat. But within moments, the atmosphere above the planet shimmered with the power of human technology, a fusion of science and fury that had been created from necessity rather than complacency. The human ship fired a beam of energy so concentrated it sliced through the atmosphere, breaking apart Zorithis's protective shield and sending shockwaves across the surface. The explosion was catastrophic, but it was just the beginning. Warships arrived, each one carrying the same burning desire to avenge the child. The Galactic Council had underestimated humanity. They believed their technology, their unity, and their sheer numbers would always grant them victory. But what they had failed to understand was the power of human rage, the unrelenting fury that could ignite entire stars. In a matter of hours, the human fleet had launched a devastating campaign against the Council's worlds. Their ships became like wolves among a flock of sheep, tearing through the defenses of even the most advanced alien species. The Council's planets fell one by one, each consumed by the flames of human vengeance. It was said that when the humans attacked a world, they didn't just conquer it, they destroyed it, burning the very soil and ripping the skies apart. The once proud worlds of the Galactic Council became nothing more than charred husks, their civilizations erased in the blink of an eye. And with every world they burned, humanity's message became clearer. Back on Earth, humanity rallied under the banner of vengeance. Governments, military forces, and even civilians who had once been complacent in the safety of their home world joined the fight. No longer content with being pushed around by the galactic powers, they had tasted the power of retribution and craved more. The Council's diplomatic envoys sent desperate pleas to Earth, begging for peace, offering trade agreements, and promising to release the child. But it was too late. Humanity had crossed a line they could never uncross. The Council had made the fatal mistake of underestimating a species that would stop at nothing to protect their own. Alicia, though still young and scarred from the horrors she had endured, stood at the heart of the human resistance. The power within her had grown exponentially since her captivity. She became more than a symbol. She became the weapon that led humanity's charge. Her mere presence on the battlefield was enough to make even the most advanced alien warships tremble. Her eyes, once filled with innocence, now burned with the fire of vengeance. The child who had been tortured and broken had become the harbinger of destruction for the Galactic Council, and wherever she went, the stars themselves seemed to bend to her will. The Council's fleets had been shattered, their colonies burned, their influence waned. The once mighty races of the galaxy, who had long prided themselves on their superiority, now cowered before the unstoppable force that was humanity. They had believed themselves untouchable, invincible in their unity, but the human spirit, driven by vengeance and the will to protect, had proven them wrong. As the ashes of the Galactic Council's worlds floated in space, humanity stood victorious. They had lost much, but they had gained something far greater: the respect of the galaxy and the knowledge that no one, not even the most powerful beings in existence, could ever break their spirit. Alicia, standing amidst the ruins of what had once been an empire, looked to the stars. There was still much to be done, many worlds to rebuild, and many wrongs to right. But she knew one thing for certain: humanity would never again bow to anyone. The galaxy had learned a valuable lesson that day. When you torture a human child, you do not simply break them. You awaken an ancient power, one that can burn their entire civilization to the ground. Humanity had spoken, and the galaxy would listen.